Hello everyone, and happy early Easter! As you can tell, I am already ready for Easter. Keep in mind, this episode made me cry. Anyways, let's start the episode. We start the episode off by the curious walking by the road as a car goes by. And the episode starts. Our main character is named Vincent, and he was listening to music before his father interrupted him with a small disagreement that happened before we are introduced to his father's sister, or Vincent's aunt. The father and aunt have a conversation about the reason that they are in the house to begin with, which has something to do with some sort of argument or divorce, or both. The father stares ominously out the window at an old well before his sister snaps him out of it and he leaves. Vincent talks to his aunt and she tells him to go. They used to live in this house. His father left it as soon as he was old enough, but she could never leave. It cuts to Vincent outside looking around and he bumps into the old well before his father comes out and takes him away from the well. 2 gold stars for being a responsible adult. Yay! But he gets 1 removed for yelling at his son. Vinny's aunt comforts him and tells him that his dad used to have a friend called Red. No, not the bird. Or the fox either! One day Red disappeared down the well and everything just unraveled for his dad. According to his aunt, after they had both stared at the well, Vinny wanders around the house out of boredom, and suddenly a door opens. This is where a normal person would say no, but Vinny turns on the light and goes into the creepy basement, and goes downstairs. He wanders the creepy basement until he finds an orb. Hey, look, it's how I got into the void. Vinny touches the orb and a shock occurs that suddenly things change in the basement. Vinny heads upstairs to a sister and a brother, one of whom is named AJ. The sister is called upstairs and AJ meets Vinny. Vinny asks AJ what AJ stands for, and it is revealed to be his father. Vinny panics. It is also revealed to be June 5th, 1985. Vinny panics and goes back in time. Back to his time, I mean. Vinny has an awkward lunch or breakfast, I can't tell, with his aunt and father, and asks about the cellar. The aunt says there is nothing but ants in the cellar. The father is a jerk and tells him to clean up and go outside. Vinny goes back in time via the orb, and it turns out his father didn't go outside as a kid. AJ shows Vinny his Star Wars collection and reveals his favorite character is Han Solo. Vinny nearly spoils the future and changes the topic to video games, aka the world record for asteroids. Vinny tries to go back by telling AJ that his dad will be freaking out. But AJ insists that he stays and his dad is lame before blowing a bubblegum bubble. Vinny takes the bubblegum and goes back to the future of Vinny's dad debating to call his wife and sniffling before putting the phone away as Vinny enters the room. Vinny offers his father gum. He refuses at first, but then he looks at the gum, which in my opinion looks like Starbursts, and he gives the gum, and first time we actually see him smile, and they have a really good bonding moment. As the moment happens, the orb shrinks. The aunt enters the scene. The father almost immediately stops after she enters. The aunt congratulates Vinny and goes back to the past, where they joke around and play games with Vinny before AJ named him Red for his quote-unquote red eyes. Vinny freaks out and went back to the future to ask his aunt what happened to Red. The aunt begrudgingly explains that she was going for a 100-skip jump with her jump rope. Red went down the well and disappeared. And in the end of it all, her brother smashed his video game console like a part of him was broken and never got fixed. Back in the past, AJ is trying to convince Vinny to sleep over, but refuses But Vinny refuses due to obvious reasons. Vinny goes on a rant if he talked it out with his wife wouldn't leave him, and his family would stay together. But AJ is confused by this. AJ tells him he should try and find something they both enjoy, be it Vita, his father, and him. Vinny decides that that's a good idea and searches the basement for something. Until he finds he found the game console while his father's working, and he tries to get some bonding by beating the world record. His dad never could. AJ smiles as Vinny says that he fixed it, and Vincent tells his dad who has doubts that it will take time to beat that record. And it starts an epic gaming music montage of them destroying asteroids and getting points. During the game, in which Vincent nearly fell asleep, and we see the dad nearly beating the high score. They finally beat the high score, and they get a huge hug, and it is adorable, and shush, I'm not crying, you're crying! Vincent goes back to the basement, and the orb isn't there anymore. It is outside somehow. The orb is getting weaker, and Vincent thanks AJ for helping him, and tells him that his mom has made butterscotch angel delights. I don't know what those are, but I want to try it. Anyways, Vincent knows that today will be the day that Red, quote-unquote, disappears. But as Vincent looks around, there is a small orb down there. Vincent debates what to do. AJ notices him and asks him if he's staying or going. Vincent chooses to stay, and seems that Vincent is trapped in the past, but a new orb appears. Vincent tells AJ that he was his best friend, and he ever had, and leaves the past for the last time. He is now outside the house of his aunt's house, and his aunt approaches him and tells him that she knew something was always strange about the place. They enter the house and can see his dad cooking a roast. Vincent noticed the extra seating and asks about it. His mom comes back. Their family is together, and the aunt winks at him, and that's the end of the episode. I love this episode for a number of reasons. I'm sure it doesn't have horror, but the feelings. So many feelings in this episode. Anyways, I wish you a good night.